you're working with people who are buying the green coffee. I always try to learn something on every show or help people learn something. Coffee Smarter is what we call it. Yeah. Something we do with Roastar, who sponsors the show. What is it that you wish the people buying this green coffee from you knew, or what are the smarter roasters asking you when they come to you and say, what are you seeing in this coffee that makes it a value add? Why are we paying you more for this coffee? A lot of the reasons you just said, but also from that perspective, since you see both sides, what would you say?
I think that roasters that I'm seeing be really successful with selling their coffee that they're sourcing in this manner, because this is more expensive coffee, right? Like if we're going to take this wild sea market out of it and we're basing it off of what coffee actually costs to produce, then it's going to be more expensive coffee. And I think that roasters who are being really successful with this, which people who are being smarter about how they're making their buying decisions, I think they put a lot of emphasis into how they're going to communicate that value add to the customer, because a lot of information and a lot of the knowledge about the value add gets lost at that spot where like the roaster takes it in and they make the buying decision and they're like, yeah, this coffee is so great. It's got this cool story. It's got these sustainability features to it. I'm like really behind it. And then that's where it stops. And they don't put the same emphasis into communicating that and pulling that forward to the consumer so that the consumer has the same understanding of the value add that the roaster does. And with that, I'd also say when you're pulling that information forward and you're understanding what the value add is for the consumer and you're communicating that to them and you're getting their feedback about the value, it may be enlightening. You may learn that your consumer does not care as much about cup quality or unique flavors or cool processing methods. Maybe they're really engaged with the process that you use for buying the coffee, or how you invested your time and energy into the supply chain. I think roasters would be shocked if they really sat down and did like some tastings with the average consumer and with their average consumer to learn that the consumer palate is so different from the coffee buyer's palate. And when we put our value, when you're saying like the value add is in the cup score or in something, like this particular unique flavor, that does not mean that it translates to the consumer as a value add. I think, bringing this information forward so that it doesn't stop at the cupping table, which is where I think a lot of it stops. It stops at the cupping table. And when you bring it forward and you're connecting and also getting that feedback from consumers about why they're buying this coffee from you, like that's important information. And I think that helps you to make really key buying decisions. I also think that it insulates you from pushback you might get when you have to raise prices or make changes, because the consumers you guys are bought in on the same thing. And if that costs more, the consumer is going to understand that quality costs more. So,
consumers associating with the mission or the morals, the values of a business, as opposed to just, this is the liquid that's in the hot bean juice, or I think how you referred to it earlier with me off air. And I know that that's important for me. I think as a consumer, I am trusting the companies that I'm putting in the effort to this is the company I'm supporting either in my neighborhood or on a bigger scale. But I'm also trusting, I come to them in part, or settle on them, settle's the wrong word, but I choose them because I'm trusting that they're doing the work you're talking about, that you're doing at Hacea, right? I'm going, okay, I know that they do things in a way that matches my values. And so when they tell me, or when we get to a level of trust back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty buying your product.
Yeah.
Which everything I do is about guilt. I grew up,
Catholic?
No, Lutheran Missouri Synod, but there's some overlap there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could keep talking about this stuff for hours. I feel like I could, if I just let you go, I'd have content for a year, and I would love to do that, Susan.